Let's just look at one stock right now, and that's Prime Focus. Let's pull that up for you and what that stock is doing right now. And Pankaj Poddar will be speaking to the management. It's not a very liquid stock. Prime Focus is down about 50 paise right now. Pankaj.
Well, Anand, the management at Prime Focus is now with us. Vikas Rathee, Group Chief Financial Officer at Prime Focus. So if you could just start by the numbers, the PAT front, it's looking at a PAT number versus a loss number, but I believe there was an exceptional last year.
Yeah, yes, it is. But on an overall operational perspective, we've also turned PAT positive after more than 8 quarters. So there's an operational PAT positive quarter from us. And including the exceptional gain that we have, I think it's 106 crores of PAT positive delivery this quarter.
Right. Just the point that you mentioned that PAT before the exceptional item has turned positive after 10 quarters. What all have we done? We've done a lot of restructuring. Now, majority of the restructuring is behind?
Absolutely. So if you go back a little over 2 years ago, since that time, we have actually more than doubled revenues and again, close to doubled our EBITDA as well. As we had acquired or merged with the entities across the globe, we've gone ahead and get the integration process done, shut down certain, I would say, cost inefficient operations, taken those one-time hits. And what you see right now is a company which got a very robust top line. It's got a very streamlined operational base, and we are delivering on both revenue growth as well as even more so on the EBITDA growth. And so, yes, you're right. Most of our operational kind of integration stuff is behind us, and you should continue to see strong growth both on the revenue and EBITDA side.
Right. So, I was looking at the EBITDA margins. It's closer to the 20%. I believe that was also the target that you had. So if we just look at the margins front, it has been volatile earlier. But now that you have rationalized the Singapore business, probably focusing on the current business, will margins remain around these levels and be less volatile?
Margins, 20% was our medium-term target. Yes, we have actually hit that or close to hit that. From a going forward, I would say, 12, 18, 24 months, we expect the EBITDA margins to continue to increase. So the midterm target of 20% has been reached, frankly, a couple of quarters ahead of time. And we expect the margins to kind of increase over the next 12, 18 months, even more.
Right. So can you just talk to us about the order book that you have, or rather the upcoming movies that you have? Do you think in the next 6 to 9 months, we'll see a lot more releases from you?
Yeah, so I think we've had a very strong release all the way through even now. I think we saw Star Trek, which was a movie done by us, and actually in Barco, Legend of Tarzan, Jason Bourne, Warcraft. If you name any of the top movies on the Hollywood side, and even actually on the Bollywood side is Rustam or the Baji Rao and a bunch of other things that have come over. I think a lot of those things, both in Hollywood and Bollywood, we continue to deliver on blockbusters. Going forward, we have a very strong slate. Again, these are all top-notch movies. Wonder Woman, the next series in the Fast and Furious franchise, Inferno, there's Fantastic Beasts, and this is the next reincarnation of the Harry Potter series that we are actually working on. The Mummy, so very, very strong order book. On the creative services side, the order book is north of 200 million. Similarly, on the technology business that we have, that's been growing very well organically, and we have close to $200 million of order book there as well.
Right, $200 million would provide sales visibility till when, at least for the next 1 to 2 years?
Yes, on the creative services side, frankly, we have close to 90%, if not more, of our expected delivery for 2017 already in the bag. And on the technology services side, also almost 80% of our, more than 85% of our revenues for the current fiscal already in the bag. So, and some of this order book obviously extends into the next fiscal as well. So, very good and very strong order visibility in terms of how that converts into revenues. So, we're pretty confident of hitting our top line targets as well as the EBITDA targets for FY17.
So, let's just talk about the business that you are in and how it is growing. Do you think the usage of, the technology that you have is just increasing, in all kinds of movies, all kinds of, overall animation that we are seeing, which means that business should be strong?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a massive, I would say, one uptake of VFX-heavy movies. As you see, almost every week there's a large Hollywood release that comes out. They're all visually addressed because at least in the West, people are not looking to see rom-coms or any more to that extent. So I think so big budget and big box office movies are all visually enhanced, where we obviously play a big role. So that's been a big help for us. Secondly, I think there's a disruption in the media market. As the newer generation is going to on the internet, is an iPad and others, they're consuming content beyond just the theaters or on television, and I think that's having a nice impact, where you have people like Netflix and Amazon Prime today, creating content which you otherwise would have never expected. So there's a lot more customers coming online. And this expansion now is actually happening on the television side as well. If you look at series like Game of Thrones and others, there's a lot of VFX-heavy content coming through television too.
Right. So, sir, we can very clearly say that in terms of visual effects, we are seeing a huge growth or, a change as far as the industry is concerned, both in India as well as in the global markets and the various segments that you just mentioned. How is Prime Focus positioned to, capture this growth going ahead?
Yeah, I think we are clearly positioned as the leading independent media and entertainment services house, which actually has a big impact, because some of our competitors, at least in the West, are owned by our large studios, and as such, they do get a little conflicted when Warner Brothers or others wants to do work. They will not really like to go give work to a Disney-owned, services provider for the matter, or a Sony-owned service providers because of conflict. So I think from that perspective, we won 2 Oscars in a row, which has never happened, for any of our competitors. So given the credibility, given the quality that we're delivering, today we have more opportunities to do bigger movies, more movies for our biggest clients. So I think that's really helping us. So we're increasing our market share, every year.
Right. Can you just talk about the investment that you would be doing? I believe you all have opened a facility in Bangalore, but overall, will this require huge amount of investment, or now incremental investment will be lower?
It's only incremental. I think we've been a little contrarian. I think we went ahead and invested, in terms of facilities and both domestically and internationally, while we were still going through the integration phase. So, a big part of our spend is behind us on the CapEx side. Now it's incremental and growth related CapEx that you will see that's coming in. So no really big plans of creating massive amount of new CapEx. We're seeing the numbers come through, and it's primarily because we were able to invest ahead of time.
And also one more thing about the various geographies that you are in. I'm just reading from your release. It's a deeper penetration into North America, and that is something that you have done. Which are the other markets that you're looking to have deeper penetration in?
See, I think the content, from a Western perspective, the content creation still continues to be dominated out of the U.S. UK obviously is a big market as well, which we are very heavily present in. So I think we're targeting these 2 markets very well. There are also forays that we're making into the domestic China language market, which again we're being opportunistic in relation to that. I think that's a market which is, I think, growing. And there's an opportunity for, I would say, international players to play in the market. I think we have to be cautious as to how we actually play the China market. And also, I think what you should start seeing more and more is, the Bollywood movies are starting to have bigger budgets, and they're now starting to spend more in relation to, I would say, higher quality VFX. So I think there's growth not just from the Hollywood side of the pie, but also I think China, India, and the television part of it, and people like Amazon and Netflix putting content directly on the web. I think there are 3 or 4 really important growth levers that I think we're very well positioned to capitalize on.
Right. So thank you so much for joining us and explaining about the business and the opportunity for Prime Focus going ahead. We're taking a break. Coming back in 2 minutes, the management of Kridan Infra will join us on the other side. They declared numbers over this weekend.